Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football TITTH number 31. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. This is my co-host, Nick Davis.
What's up, guys?
We got a good group of topics on the board for today, but we're going to run through some recent news first. Starting from the top, we got the Jordan Reed signing going over to San Francisco. We foreshadowed that on the last episode. What do you think?
I love it. This was definitely Jordan picking the coach that actually has already showed him that he can be used in his offense and be highly successful. So really, it's just all about him staying on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the signing. You know, I mentioned in the last video that really felt that the Niners needed another weapon. You know, someone else there for Jimmy G to target, whether it was Antonio Brown, Jordan Reed. They also talked about signing Delaney Walker. I like it. You know, I like it. Garoppolo has a good history of throwing the ball to the tight end. Obviously, you know, when you get to play with Kittle and Gronkowski, you know, there's some upside there, right? And bringing over another elite pass-catching tight end in Jordan Reed, like you said, just has to stay on the field. I don't think I'm drafting him in fantasy by any means.
You can get him for free.
Oh, he'll be free. He'll be free on the free agent wire after your draft. You know, in really deep leagues, you know, obviously the tight end position is super volatile every year. You know, you have names coming out of nowhere pretty consistently. You know,
like Waller.
Yeah, exactly. Waller was a big boom last year for a lot of teams, a lot of drafters. So yeah, Jordan Reed could be something week to week value DFS.
I'm going to say let him get a couple weeks underneath of his feet because you got to see how he's being used. I have no doubt Shanahan will use him correctly, but really I just want to see if he's going to be able to take some hits.
Do you think they're going to use, not him, but the Niners are going to use more double tight end sets?
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots basically showed the blueprint on how to do that successfully, and they don't. I mean, there's no one on the team besides like Deebo Samuel that's like a true number one wide receiver. So Kittle is their number one wide receiver, and they're just making it better and they're so run heavy. So with the two tight end set, they can always show the run, but also it could be a pass, and it just opens up play action.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of going forward with that, I think that this signing actually helps Mostert the most. You know, these outside zone runs, those plays start with the tight end doing his job correctly. You know, breaking out into their blocking assignments and creating that outside gap. So I think that this is a really good signing for the 49ers. Simple, but yeah, refined.
Yeah,
I like it. What we got next up, Nick?
So today it broke that Marquise Brown gained 23 pounds. I did not actually know that he weighed 157 pounds last year.
Super small.
Yeah, I kind of was shocked by that, but it also made a lot more sense why he kind of had some bumps and bruises throughout the season. But one of the things that I really like about what he said was, you know, he was looking to run block this year, and he's looking to hit somebody, so he needs to have that extra weight, you know, to give that punishing hit. And it's such a run-heavy offense that, you know, I think this is a great move, and he wants to be on the field. So I give him respect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Round of applause for Marquise Brown going out there, hitting the gym, getting those gains to keep himself on the field. So drafters, you got to love that. You know, I'm all about it. Marquise Brown couldn't stay on the field last year, not necessarily because of like health, but the size. He can't run block in a run heavy offense, and they weren't using him to his full potential. He did come in to the last year's season with like an ankle injury or foot injury. I can't remember which.
I think it was a Liz Frank that was hurting him, like something in his foot.
Yeah, but he still boomed. You know, he was still
awesome. I had him on my team.
He was still blowing the roofs off of secondaries, and he was making you question, you know, team owners. Do I need to start this guy this week?
Yeah.
And I think that this year you're going to find a little bit more comfort in that question, whether he's going to be on your bench or in a starting spot, specifically because of the increased size, weight gain, athleticism, everything that comes with that strength compared with that speed. What's not to love?
Yeah, to be completely honest, with that extra weight gain, I really hope that he did not lose a step, but he has a step to give and still be at the top end speed in the NFL. So, you know, I just absolutely love it, and I'm definitely going to be picking him like I did last year with taking flyers on rookie receivers. He ended up being one of them and paid dividends.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a lot more costly this year, but we're very appreciative of all the hard work, Marquise. So keep it up, sir. We'll see you come draft day. Lastly, we got Albert Wilson opting out of the 2020 season for not necessarily COVID reasons, but under the COVID opt out selection. Instant reaction, Nick?
Preston Williams is shooting up the draft board for that. Also, Devontae Parker, it just means more touches for him.
Mhm.
More touches for Devontae Parker, more touches for Preston Williams, and also more touches for Mike Gesicki.
Mhm.
So those three benefit the most from having one less target.
Mhm.
So I'm all about the Dolphin receivers right now.
Yeah, I also think it's going to benefit a guy like Matt Breida. Matt Breida is a really fast running back out of that backfield. I think he catches, literally like him going out another 20 to 30 passes this year. I think that increases his upside for this upcoming season. Out of that backfield, I'm preferring Breida over him. And yeah, the other pieces, over Howard, I'm sorry. And the other pieces, Gesicki, Williams, and Parker. Yeah, I'm about it.
Just more targets, more chances.
Yeah, I'm about it. I'm not heavily targeting really any three of those guys. Players that I'm looking to fall into my lap, essentially.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if and when they do, I'm going to be a little bit more excited about it. A few more touches to go around. Wilson opted out. Alan Hearns has opted out for them. So there's really not that much depth. And if one of these guys goes down, like Williams last year, obviously couldn't fulfill the entire season based on health. If he goes down or Parker goes down, yeah, Gesicki or Williams, they're just another
peg up.
Yeah, another peg up and another roster spot, available for those increased targets and that increased workload. So, yeah, and Albert Wilson opting out. Hey, do your thing, man. Do your thing. Was hurt all of last year. I'm kind of seeing that pretty similar. Players that were hurt last season, maybe they want another full year to rack up some recovery, really get their A game going. We've seen many Patriots opt out, a lot of the older guys as well. So, I'm looking for a lot of these guys to just use the year as more recovery time and gearing up for another year. Because I believe they have to repay what they borrow or the stipend that they take. The $150K that they take is not like it's guaranteed. They have to pay that back.
I have no idea about what is happening with the opt-outs and salaries.
All right, we're not a socio-political fantasy squad here, so we're just going to move on to the topics.
We stick to the numbers over here, guys.
Yeah, but we don't want to get too deep into some things that we may not be so concerned about. But regardless, I think a lot of these guys, Albert Wilson, they take another year off. They come in geared up for a strong 2021 campaign. All right.
Talking about some open roster spots, some people that are looking and coming back in the news is Antonio Brown. This guy keeps popping up in the news, and it's almost like, dude, can you please just go away? But he's just so electric on the field that how can you not want him on your team if you're willing to deal with whatever's going on with him? Personally, I think Seattle is the top spot for him. If they're going to give Josh Gordon a chance last year, they're going to give Antonio Brown a chance because they'll do anything for a ring.
It makes a lot of sense. Antonio Brown is the fucking McGregor of the NFL. Like one day he's retired, the next day he's active again.
Suspended.
I think he's been retired 3 times this offseason. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong.
It's bordering on Brett Favre territory.
Oh man, I like the McGregor comparison a little more, just based on the attitudes. Sorry, I didn't say that, Brett Favre. I'm a Bears fan. I wouldn't even disrespect.
No, I was just saying Brett Favre. Retiring and unretiring. That's what I really meant.
No, I know where you were going with that. Vikings, Jets, the whole 9 yards. Antonio Brown. I like Seattle. I would be very bullish on a Russell Wilson with an Antonio Brown by his side. But you know where I would really like to see him go? And I'm sorry, everyone that lives in the state of Illinois, all my Bears fanhood, but the Packers. The Packers need him. The Packers with Antonio Brown on their roster, Super Bowl. Book it. Their defense, their running game. Obviously, Antonio Brown is not going to like Matt LaFleur. But if they have Antonio Brown and Devontae Adams healthy all year, the Jay Sternberger talk is going to go away. All of the flyers that they have on that roster, Alan Lazard, Jay Sternberger, MVS, all those names just float away. That's just what would be the scenario.
Yeah.
So Seattle, the Packers. We mentioned the 49ers on our last show. I think that's still a good spot because going to the 49ers, he is the number one guy.
Yeah.
If you go to the Seahawks, I think more owners or more fantasy players are just going to be really upset because that just completely demolishes Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf's value.
Yeah.
Where are you drafting those guys if Antonio Brown is coming in at week 9 and going to completely interrupt, their production down the back stretch of your season? Where are you drafting those guys then? So that signing, I think, in Seattle would torment a lot of fantasy owners, and I think that a signing in maybe San Francisco, Green Bay would convolute the Devontae Adams scenario, right? Where you're going to draft him.
I mean, he's just when he's on the field, he's going to get those targets, so he's going to eat out of whoever's production is opposite of him. I honestly see that, like, if he goes to Seattle, I do see him eating out of production for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but you know what? It's becoming a 3-wide NFL. That's pretty much like the base. I don't see them rushing the ball as much. I mean, they have Chris Carson, but doesn't he have like injury history? Like,
not
I'm
necessarily.
not really bullish on Chris Carson.
I like Chris Carson. But he's not a pass catcher. He's a poor man's Derrick Henry. Is what Chris Carson is. He's a poor man's Derrick Henry. He doesn't have the per touch rushing efficiency as Henry, but he can pound the ball for you. He can get it in inside the tackles for you and finish in the red zone. He does put the ball on the ground every now and again. But as far as Antonio Brown going there, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I would be more bullish on Russell Wilson, but then I'm going to be targeting Lockett and Metcalf a lot less. And yeah, I'll probably try to grab Antonio Brown somewhere. Honestly, I would assume that would push all 3 of them into like similar rounds.
Yeah.
I think that would group
pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm talking like probably rounds 6 through 8 for Lockett and Metcalf. Then maybe even 5, whatever. But Brown would definitely get into that mix. I saw people last year taking Kareem Hunt in the 7th and 8th round, going like, what are you doing? Oh, he'll be back week 9. He'll be there. Like, you kidding me? What the hell? I see people do it, so I know that there are going to be people that even now, if you're drafting now, we see people drafting Antonio Brown just waiting for him to be signed. Yep. And I think you almost have to do that in like best ball approaches and really deep leagues. If you're drafting, sometime in the month of August and you have 11 bench spots, you got to be drafting Antonio Brown right now. I mean, I think the same kind of goes for even some of the other free agents like a Devontae Freeman or even a Lamar Miller. If you have that bench and that roster equity, you got to go after those guys.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick was drafted in our last fantasy draft.
It was a super flex league. It was
just interesting to see. Like, the guy hasn't played, but also we've seen that Andrew Luck has been getting drafted. So you just see these weird flyers at the end of these mock drafts sometimes.
Yeah, well, people are living in their homes during this COVID summer, and they don't have much else to do. So hey, gotta get my draft in where I have 1 share of Andrew Luck because I'm we got my conspiracy theories and listen to my talk radio, and he's going to be a Patriot by the end of the year. Just guys, get off of it. Just the man's living in. I mean, he's not doing the Steve Bartman thing, but I thought he wanted to go to France and check out some architecture. I just figured he got like trapped over there during COVID or something. I just figured that's what happened.
He had a rough time with all those injuries towards the end and having to constantly reset his mind to have to go back into rehab, and that's tough on a person. I mean, even Andrew Luck, So I hope he does come back into the NFL, but I will not be looking at him in my draft until he actually puts pen to paper.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so moving through Antonio Brown, we're going to touch on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Put out an article today on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm in. I was out, and now I'm in. Where I saw the darkness, I found the light. I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting drafted way, way too high with Damian Williams still in the picture. Damian Williams opting out of the 2020 season, under the COVID opt-out option. Interesting, just won himself a Super Bowl. Kind of thought Damian Williams would be a guy that, got something to prove, right? Your team just went out and drafted a stud running back with their first pick. Yeah, and they're bringing him in to like take your job, man. Like, I mean, wouldn't you want to stay on the field and show some pride?
It was family related.
All right, fair enough. I don't know.
I saw
you don't get into the socio-political stuff.
No, I just saw that he had some high-risk family members, and he just wanted to make the correct decision for them. So, it wasn't really, proving a point or anything, and we all respect that.
Yeah, no problems with that whatsoever. I guess I'm just kind of maybe relating it to like the Derek Carr sound bites. Like, I got something to prove. I got a lot to show out here, and I got to prove a lot of doubters wrong. I just think it's kind of a similar situation, but I didn't know about that, so that makes a lot of sense, and I get all that. I don't hate any player for taking this year off.
No,
We
no.
are living in strange times, people. Take care of yourself. Hashtag wear the mask. Yeah, all in on Clyde Edwards-Helaire now. Has the keys to the city, keys to the car, whatever expression you want to use. He's got the green light. He's going to get close to 300 touches this year, and I just don't believe that was going to happen with Damian Williams on the field. What do you think?
Yeah, it was gonna be more like running back by committee, just kind of like catching the hot hand.
Yeah,
While
yeah.
Williams was there, but this is Clyde Edwards-Helaire backfield to run with. He's a championship running back. He was picked by Patrick Mahomes. Even when he was picked by the Chiefs at the later end of the first round,
32nd pick.
Yeah, I kind of was like curious. I was like, man, he is a championship running back, but I did not see him in that kind of light. Honestly, I saw Geis more as a first round pick, even though he gets hurt. But anyway, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's a legit running back. He has a lot of pass catching ability. I think he's definitely going to give them a weapon from the backfield and give Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman to be able to split out and just run on the defenses.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the other receivers there. Hardman, Hill. They of course have Watkins and Kelsey still. So there's mouths to feed in this offense. It's just that now Edwards-Helaire doesn't have to deal with also eating into Williams' workload and vice versa, right? So Williams, I was fully on board with him having at least 140 to 150 touches. With a Kansas City offense that only ran the ball, I think, 375 times last year. So there isn't like a ton of like volume in the rushing attack. Obviously, teams are going to be playing very aggressive against the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to bring their A game on this defense because they know there's no time to waste.
Yeah.
Like, Mahomes can go down and put up 4 touchdowns in a quarter. We saw it like twice last year, once at least I know. So the offense is a machine for the Chiefs. And defenses are going to have to be a lot more aggressive, and I think that's going to lend to the upside of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You can't load the box on this offense. On Mahomes, period, you just can't load the box because he's going to hurt you somewhere. If he's got one receiver on the field, he can still kill you. He still lights you up for a 70-yard pass. So
with the flick of the wrist.
Exactly. And now with Helaire there, Hilaire's a type of running back that I see, like 8 to 10% or less of 8 men in the box, like a Devin Singletary type. Like his speed, you have to respect. You just have to, and you're not going to be able to stay off the line or even press him. So it's going to create a lot of different mismatches, and it's going to just really boost Hilaire's upside. So I'm all in on him. End of the second round, mid-second round is where I was seeing him go.
Yep.
With Williams in the picture. Now that he's out of the picture, I mean, honestly, I feel okay taking him in the first round. What do you think?
Not in the first round. Not this year. Not this year.
14 teams.
I definitely want to see a lot more from him in the professional league. Sometimes these college running backs, we've seen like Ezekiel Elliott come and just be the bell cow, but there's a lot of our running backs that have come up that were the bell cow of their college offense and have struggled in the NFL. Whether it be fumbles or just not getting on the field, whatever. With the Chiefs having a target on their back for winning the Super Bowl, I'm curious to see how he holds on to the ball with NFL guys going after the ball every time. These college kids, they aren't exactly going for the ball every single time. These NFL guys, and like you said, they have no time to waste against this offense. So they have to get these turnovers. So they're going to be attacking him. I just want to see how he does with that. And then, I'm definitely high on him, but I definitely want to see him in the NFL.
So end of the first round, 13, 14 teams. I'll easily take them with those last 2 picks, right? Yeah, if we're getting into that range of like the 9, 10, 11, 12, it could be a little dangerous. But we talked just before the show. I moved him up to running back 9, right ahead of Kenyon Drake. Would you take Kenyon Drake in the first round?
No.
Okay, so essentially like after like, let's say like running backs 1 through 7, 1 through 8, you'll take those in the first.
Yeah.
Okay, so like maybe Joe Mixon's the cutoff?
Yeah, Joe Mixon has a lot to offer for fantasy, so I would definitely take him in the first round.
Yeah, I love Joe Mixon. I would still have him ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I think it's getting closer by the day.
Yes,
I really think it is. Looking back at Kareem Hunt's rookie season, I'm putting a Helaire at like 1,600 yards. Hunt finished league leader at over 1,800.
Yeah,
in this Andy Reid system. So there's a ton of potential here, guys. Am I saying that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be the league leading rusher this year? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying he's definitely going to have
He
over.
doesn't need to be.
He's definitely going to be over 1,500 total yards. Like
Yeah.
600 to 700 rushing yards and 8 to 900 receiving yards. I think is fully in his wheelhouse. I've heard we heard a guy compare him to what, Emmitt Smith and who today?
It was Emmitt Smith and I think Barry Sanders.
Pump the brakes a little. Pump the brakes a little.
I appreciate that high praise. You know, it's great, but please, that's a little high.
Yeah, that's a little high. I like the Darren Sproles comparisons. I know that's a little.
That's a good one.
That's a little
I like
more.
That one a lot.
That's a little more modest.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like Helaire, he's an inside the tackle type of runner too. That's not Darren Sproles.
LSU running backs are violent. They run down there very hard. They're going against SEC defensive tackles that are in the NFL the next year. So
yeah, so somewhere between Darren Sproles and Emmitt Smith, you'll find Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But yeah, I think he has a ton of potential this year. You can use the word scared. I'm a little scared to draft him ahead. Skittish, scared, concerned, worried, whatever, to draft him ahead of guys like a Joe Mixon, a Derrick Henry, where I've seen all the tape. I've seen their NFL experience. I am a little concerned about taking him that high. I've seen him go as early as 5th overall.
Whoa.
That is rich. That is rich. That's too much for me still. I like it. I get it. I see where you're going with that pick. You know, anyone who's looking that way. But it's a little too aggressive. It's kind of like taking a quarterback in the first round of your fantasy draft when you don't have a super flex league going, you know, when that's not the format. That's getting a little too aggressive. Sure, you could corner, you know, the market on your guy like a Jackson or a Mahomes, but it just really hurts you for your value for the rest of the draft. So that's a little too rich for me. End of the first round in some, 13, 14 team leagues. I'm definitely there. I'm in. And if I pounce on a Mike Thomas in the first round, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is your guy in the second. I think
Sounds good to me.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
I definitely just want to have a pick right before him if he does fall to me in like the second round. That's the only reason why I won't take him in the first round, because he is a rookie, guys. Like, we are talking about him, but he is a rookie. So I, always got to see college guys in the NFL before you really jump on him like that.
It is risky. It is risky, but if he hits, you'll absolutely boom. So kind of breaking into a lightning round. We're gonna do some fantasy lightning round. I'll start off really quick with just that Helaire, just kind of taking it from there. So if you're at the end of, let's say, the first round, there's 13 or 14 teams. Would you take DeAndre Hopkins or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Ooh, DeAndre Hopkins for sure.
Okay, all right. So there you go. I think that's a really good comparison, and I think a lot of you are going to be in that situation in leagues where the first round goes really running back heavy, where you see, with 12 picks in that first round, you could potentially see 9 or 10 running backs go. It's going to depend on your format, but I think that's a really good example, and I think a lot of you are going to be in that scenario. What do you got, Nick? What's a good lightning pick you got?
So this is the battle of the AJs. So AJ Brown or AJ Green?
I'm going AJ Brown. I think AJ Green is enticing. I think there's a lot to be excited about. You got Joe Burrow. Gunslinging college quarterback. A lot of people are comparing his efficiency and his potential production to a rookie Andrew Luck. Wouldn't hate that. So I think there's obviously some upside there. There's some hype. AJ Green playing under the franchise tag, but at the same time, I don't want to play that. I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to draft AJ Green as potentially my second wide receiver, my first wide receiver if I go really running back. Corner the quarterback market. I don't want to take that risk. If AJ Green is on my team, he is going to be one of my flexes, or he's going to be, my third wide receiver. AJ Brown, on the other hand, is a different story. He doesn't have as much competition. The quarterbacks, I think, are pretty even as far as where you're drafting, like Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill. I think they're pretty close. So I'll say their level of production is going to be similar. I think that both of them can easily hit over 3,300 passing yards. I do think that the Bengals will run the ball a little bit more this year with a more established quarterback. Obviously, Andy Dalton was out for most of last year, so defenses were able to get a little bit more aggressive on the backups that they had there. So I think that Mixon gets a little bit more rack this year. I'm interested in AJ Green. I think he's enticing, but I like AJ Brown more. All the athleticism that we saw from his last year, his per touch production, if he can get an increase in volume whatsoever, he's going to boom for you. I don't want either of them as my first wide receiver. I'll be very clear about that.
They're definitely going second receiver territory.
Yeah, like my second receiver, if I get either of those guys at value as my third wide receiver or my flex spot, I'm doing something right, and I'll feel pretty good about it. But taking AJ Brown over AJ Green. All right, I got one for you. What do you think about Raheem Mostert versus your boy Cam Akers?
Cam Akers. I'm taking
Ooh,
it because Raheem
ooh.
Mostert, he had to fight for a contract. They don't see him as the number one. He's basically like 2A, 2B in their room, and it's just a lot more running backs they're going to be using.
Mhm.
Cam Akers, he's the dude. He's the dude in that room. I feel there's no one with his pedigree nor his draft history, draft position that can really challenge him. I think that he's going to take the job in Los Angeles and run with it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be in on that. I'm a little bit more bullish on Mostert just from what I saw last year. If I'm sitting there and that's who I have, and I need a running back, and it's one or the other, I still feel like I'm going Mostert. I don't know. Maybe it's recency bias. He had a pretty successful year for me last year. I picked him up in a lot of spots and he did well. So I might just be favoring him a little bit more. But I'm all about Akers. You know about that. I'm all about Akers. I just like a little bit more experience. The Niners' passing game isn't as inviting as the Rams too. So I think that he gets used in the passing game a little bit more. So yeah, I'm going to say Mostert over Akers. Either one will be great, really.
All right, so I got one for you for the young receivers. So I got Cortland Sutton or DK Metcalf.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh man, DK Metcalf broke the rookie receiving record last year.
Cut from stone.
Cut from literally, yes,
Diamond.
A boulder. Like literally the human Hulk. The guy. I said last year, Derek.
He had an 8-pack.
Yeah, I said last year Derrick Henry was a Terminator. I think that DK Metcalf is like the next model up.
Yeah.
The next Terminator movie. Got to send the next one back in time. Cortland Sutton, I'm excited about the offense. I think the tiebreaker here is going to be the quarterback. I think I'm going to go with DK Metcalf just with Russell Wilson. I like the prospect of Drew Lock this year. I like the prospect of him, but at the same time, I'm looking at like an MVP candidate in Russell Wilson and what he can do with the ball, extending the plays. Everyone wants to knock DK Metcalf for his route running skills, and I thought he looked great last year. Like
he looks fine. He looked like an NFL receiver to me.
He's going to have more experience. He's going to have, obviously another year in the room with those wide receiver coaches. So I think they're getting a lot more out of him that everyone anticipated or projected. So yeah, I'm going to go with Metcalf over Sutton, but that's another really good one. That's a good close one. Here's a good one: Darren Waller or Rob Gronkowski.
Ooh, man. I'm gonna say Waller, man. Waller, he's shown that he can get. I mean, did he? I think he had 1,000 yards receiving last year. Did he?
Off the top of my head,
I don't know, but he did do very well, and he was the number one target. In it was Oakland. Now it's Las Vegas, but he was the number one target once Antonio Brown left. Rob Gronkowski, there are legitimate receivers outside of him. He does have the chemistry with Tom Brady, basically chemistry over a decade. That cannot be taught overnight, but I still think that Waller had built a great connection with Carr, and he knows that Waller's going to be there in the red zone. I mean, Witten's coming in, but I think he's more there to help teach Waller because Gruden's one of those guys that loves teaching those young guys. He always had those film studies with the quarterbacks on ESPN. He's doing the same thing in his own room. So I think Witten is more there to help Waller get to that next level.
As far as the picking between the two talents, I definitely like Waller more, but I think that people are going to overdraft him. I think that people are giving him a little bit too much value. He did have 1,145 yards last year, so you're right on that. He had 90 catches, only 3 receiving touchdowns, and I think that there's a lot of room for improvement there.
Yeah.
I do think the additions of Ruggs and an Edwards on the outside are going to help open some space. They have been talking about, or not, maybe they haven't, but we've been hearing rumors about a potential Tyrell Williams trade to Jacksonville. So we'll kind of see what happens there. I think if he leaves, I think that opens up a little bit more upside for Waller as well. But people are still disrespecting Gronk's
absolutely.
his draft value. I've seen him as low as tight end 13 or 14. I have him as tight end 7 or 8. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I have him much higher. And we talked about his props on our last episode, and those numbers just being too low. I think there's just a really faulty projection or anticipation of what he's going to provide that team and that offense. we were breaking it down. It was like, his prop at 550 yards, was it? Yeah, 550 yards was breaking down to like 30 yards a game or something like that. And just like, where in what universe in reality is Rob Gronkowski, only putting up that type of production? So I like Waller a lot. Between the two, if you're telling me like, hey, who's better, fantasy wise, who do you really, really want? I'd probably say Waller, but the price that you're paying for Gronkowski is fractional in comparison.
Correct.
So I do think that you can get him much later in your drafts, potentially in double digits, depending on where you're drafting, who you're drafting with, and of course the format. If you have a spot for a couple of tight ends, someone might think they're savvy and they might draft a couple of big tight ends early on. But other than that, I think that you can get Gronk at fractional value. I'm not saying he's going to put up this type of production, 90 catches, over 1,000 yards, and whatever. He only had 3 touchdowns last year, Waller. But I do think that Gronk will be more bullish on touchdowns. Use a lot in the red zone. You've mentioned it quite a few times. The Gronk and Brady connection, having that chemistry there. I think that's going to come in most importantly when it's time to close in the red zone.
Red zone, absolutely. Yeah. I could definitely see him getting at least doubling the number that Waller had. He had 3.
3.
Yeah, I definitely see 6 in Gronkowski's future. So
yeah, and then when the Raiders get down to the red zone, it's Josh Jacobs time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Pound the rock.
Yeah.
Shout out Josh Jacobs.
Mike Allscott, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shout out Mike Allscott. Love you, man.
That's what's up, Mike Allscott. Was he legit fullback? I remember
he was a legit fullback.
I was gonna say,
I think he got 1,000 yards a couple years, but man, I love that guy. That guy was the greatest fullback I've ever watched.
I want to say like Madden 99 N64. We might have to look that up. Last time I was using,
I played Madden 2000 with Dante Culpepper, or was it 2001 with Dante Culpepper? That was the game where Mike Allscott was the beast for me.
I'm not sure. My social studies teacher, he let me borrow like Madden on N64, and I'm pretty sure that was the one that I used because I was like, man, this is great. It was like the first Madden game I'd ever played. Shout out Jeremy Prairie. What's up, brother?
All right, man. I got one for you. It's kind of like a extra one though. So it's CeeDee Lamb versus Sterling Shepard versus Henry Ruggs.
You know the answer. You know what I'm going to say. It's Henry Ruggs for sure. I'm gonna go Henry Ruggs over those guys. I've been talking up Henry Ruggs since he was drafted with the 12th pick overall by the Raiders. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ruggs. I've talked about how important he is, that he is going to be to that offense. CeeDee Lamb and Sterling Shepard. Kind of ranking them. I would probably still go Ruggs, Shepard, Lamb. Love Lamb a lot. Love his opportunity in Dallas. We were talking before the show about potentially 3 receivers with 1,000 receiving yards this year. That's the plan, according to Mari Cooper. I don't think it's a very good plan. I don't think it's great. Not a great plan. But at the same time, I like the excitement. It's just that a lot of mouths to feed there. You still have Zeke. With the Giants, you still have Barkley. You still have Shepard. Obviously, I would be on more over Lamb. But with the Giants, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, Evan Ingram, a few more mouths to feed. I think Ruggs can step in and be that one for them. We just talked about Tyrell Williams potentially leaving town, going to Jacksonville. If that happens, I'm pulling Ruggs up another round and a half. I mean, the upside for him just seems to be increasing more and more every day. The only negative thing we've heard about Ruggs so far is that he's not so savvy with hiring movers. So that's about it. Probably should have hired a mover and not try to help your cousin or your friend or whatever move. And
you just got paid, bro.
Yeah, you just got. Well, I don't know how much you get paid at draft, but whatever.
Joe Burrow got his money 15 days after signing, so I think Henry Ruggs is on the same thing.
Joe Burrow getting paid. No, it's all good. Guys, gotta go get your money. Gotta live out your COVID summers and get ready for some football. Yeah, I mean, I'm more bullish on Ruggs all day. If they were to move Williams, that would make my answer for that question even more confident. Obviously, Sterling Shepard, a 1. CeeDee Lamb, he's gonna be the 3 there behind Cooper and Gallup still. But I think that Ruggs, out of those 3, has the potential to get the biggest workload, the most opportunity potentially.
Yep.
All right, my one for you. I think it's the last one we got is. Quarterback. We'll go do a quarterback one. Joe Burrow, we just referenced, or Ryan Tannehill. Drafted in the same round 8 in our last Superflex league. Ryan Tannehill going 2 spots ahead of Joe Burrow. What do you think?
I'm going Joe Burrow. They did not draft Joe Burrow to hand the ball off to Joe Mixon. Okay, they grabbed him to lead their offense and to bring that high-flying LSU offense to Cincinnati and hopefully at least get them a playoff spot, which would be absolutely perfect since they had a decade and a half of mediocrity with Marvin Lewis.
Going to be tough in that division.
Yeah, I'm a lot more bullish on Joe Burrow. He's got T. Higgins coming with him. He's got A.J. Green there. He's got Tyler Boyd. There's just the offense is set for him. Ryan Tannehill, he's Alex Smith 2.0. He's a game manager. He's not going to take over the game, but he will move the sticks for you, and he will keep the game on the offensive side for you. But that's not how that might be how Tennessee wins the game, because that's how they use Derrick Henry a lot. But Joe Burrow, I'm drafting him before I draft Ryan Tannehill.
It's really close, these two. It's really close. I think I'm going to take Joe Burrow over Tannehill as well. The points you just mentioned, I really can't deny. AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, coming in. Not sure really what to expect on him. He's not really on my fantasy radar. But we've all been begging for.
With the Clemson,
we've been all begging for more Joe Mixon catches. So really, that's where I hope Joe Burrow comes in and provides a little bit more value. Is getting the ball out in the flat to Joe Mixon, please, Zach Taylor.
Let him work. Let him work.
No, he gets work. Just pass him the damn ball.
Well, let him receiving work. Get him receiving work.
Yeah, exactly. Get him out there. Like, I love you, Giovanni Bernard. I do. You're my boy. I'm pretty sure you've pulled me into some championships, but you're not a finisher. And coffee is for closers, brother. I need Joe Mixon on the field more. 3 down back. Give him the rock, Joe. Both Joe Burrow. Sorry, too many Joes in that locker room.
JoJo in Cincinnati.
That'll be a thing. That'll be a thing.
Or Joe squared.
All right, I got one more for you before we close it out.
Okay.
Because I think this is a good one. Would you rather take any Texans wide receiver, any of them, or Deebo Samuel, who's going to be hurt most likely to start the year? Because I'm still, and the reason I'm asking this is I still see Deebo Samuel getting drafted in like the mid rounds. Like, people are all over this guy, and he's potentially not going to play 4 to 6 games. I mean, maybe if you're anticipating like a league delay, like if people are like, oh yeah, we're going to be delayed for a month. If you got some inside info, then that's cool, but no one knows that right now. So where are you at between any Texans wide receiver? Your pick, your flavor. Whether it's a Will Fuller, it's a Kenny Stills, and then Brandon Cooks. So any of those 3, or Deebo Samuel.
There's only one that I would pick above Deebo Samuel. That's Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
I think he is a legit receiver. It's very unfortunate how he's bounced around from the league, and he's kind of like fallen off the map. But he's a legit receiver. Deebo Samuel, he's so electric. But I need value right away, because that's actually how I feel that I've gotten into the playoffs for some of the leagues. Is the first couple games, like when I've lost those games, it's very hard to come back to. I don't want to have to.
0-3 starts are difficult.
Yeah, I do not want to have to play catch up when Deebo Samuel comes back. So I need value right now. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I play fantasy. But man, that was a really good one. That was hard, but yeah.
It's those Texans receivers. They can't stay healthy. I mean, Kenny Stills, Cooks, and Fuller all have injury history. So I don't really know where I'm going there yet. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next show. Kind of pick your poison. Who do you want to take a roll of the dice on? But yeah, I think that was a good one, just because Deebo's hurt now. Those guys are always hurt. So yeah, that was a pretty good comparison. You got another one or no?
Marquise Brown or Michael Gallup?
Marquise Brown or Michael Gallup? I'm going Marquise Brown. We just talked him up a ton. Love the weight gain, increase in size. Going to stay on the field more, playing with one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Probably not going to get replaced by the up-and-coming rookie, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's 3, but I think he's definitely going to go to 2.
Yeah, he can. He definitely has the opportunity to do so. Absolutely.
If there's going to be 2 receivers to get 1,000 yards for the Cowboys, it's going to be Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Gallup's probably going to get like 850. That's how I feel.
It very well could happen. I like Mike Gallup a lot.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I hope that doesn't necessarily happen. I would still like to see CeeDee Lamb play third fiddle, just because he's a
rookie.
I'm going to be drafting him behind some of these guys. I still probably will draft him behind Gallup. So I would like to see Gallup's production and value stay steady. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I would be on Marquise Brown over Gallup, 1,000%.
They were drafted 2 picks apart.
All right.
Well, AJ Green was in between those 2.
So AJ Green or Marquise Brown? That's a good one. Still probably go Marquise Brown. I mean, Marquise Brown.
Marquise Brown was drafted after them.
I don't know. I think I still go
shoot hole in a theory. Hole in a theory.
Yeah, I still go Marquise Brown. I think I'm just a little bit more excited about him than AJ Green. I mean, AJ Green, we get something very similar from him every year, and it's a ticking time bomb. You see him go off, and then it's a matter of weeks before he's gone for the whole season. So I certainly hope that doesn't happen this year. Shout out AJ Green. Hope you do well this year, brother. But going to be waiting a little bit longer to draft you. Mid-rounds, brother. Mid-rounds. All right, that was Take It to the Hizzy. This is TITTH number 31. I'm Justin Bruni.
Nick Davis.
We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
See ya.